You want to make big money like top real estate agents, wholesalers, and investors, and you have $0 to start? I'm going to share with you the 7-step roadmap that I went through to go from zero to over $1 million in just under 3 years. It includes understanding 3 roadblocks that every person new to this business goes through, an aha moment that, if pursued correctly, can save you weeks, if not months in your startup, and then 3 tactical strategies to get you on the path to making what I like to call big money. Now, the first roadblock just about everyone goes through when trying to make money in real estate is choosing a specific path. When you Google how to start in real estate, about 20 different options show up. Becoming a real estate agent, wholesaling, buying real estate investment trusts, subject to investing, seller financing multifamilies. There are so many ways to get started in this business, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the allure of each shiny new trend. I started out in real estate as a realtor, and I chose that path because I had seen the kind of money realtors can make, 2 to 3% of the sale price of every house they sell, and it's 100% uncapped commission income. I like that as a realtor, everything you make is up to you and the sky's the limit. I didn't know anything about sales or what it actually takes to sell a house, but I was willing to learn, so I got really excited about becoming a realtor. And my end goal was to be able to buy rental properties, and houses in Seattle are not cheap. So being able to make a lot of money was very integral to reaching that goal. So if you clicked on this video knowing you want to become a real estate agent or whatever have you, great, stick to that. But if you're someone who's feeling unsure or you've been juggling a couple different options, I suggest thinking hard about what you want your life to look like in 5 or 10 years and then work backward. Do you want to make $1 million? Have passive income so you don't have to work? What are your financial goals, and which of the strategies you're researching seems like it'll get you there fastest? I love working as a real estate agent and wholesaling because I get to find the deals myself, I'm analyzing them, I'm getting in the mindset of an investor through this career path. Because once I built the capital to actually buy my own property, I already had experience selling good deals to other people, so I knew exactly what I wanted, what to look for, and how to get it. And at the end of the day, every real estate strategy that exists has made someone money and achieved their goals, otherwise it wouldn't exist. So it's up to you to find which one works best for you. And it can be hard in the beginning to decide which one that is because you don't know what you don't know. Researching the strategies, attending events and seminars, and ultimately trying them out for yourself can help you determine which path might be best for you. Don't forget, it's totally okay if you try something and it doesn't work out. You can just try something else. So once you found the avenue you want to pursue, the second stage we all go through when starting in real estate from zero is building the necessary skills. This is probably the biggest question I get from people looking to get into real estate, where do I start? And it's not uncommon at all to feel overwhelmed by the myriad of skills required in the real estate landscape. And there are courses and certifications, but there's no real official school for how to do this stuff because there are so many different things you can do and ways to go about it. From the ability to understand people, to market analysis, to evaluating property, to negotiation tactics, it's important to recognize that continuous learning is not a hurdle, but a vehicle for progress. And so embracing a growth mindset that says you are capable of learning and growing each day, and most importantly, leveraging available educational platforms and resources can fast-track your journey and enable you to confidently navigate the intricacies of the real estate realm. If you have access to the internet, it truly is simple to start building the skills that will lead you to success in real estate. In the description below, you'll find a 1-minute quiz that evaluates where you currently are on your real estate journey, and it spits out a menu of resources and guides to help you get to the next level. The good news about becoming an entrepreneur in the real estate space is that when you're totally brand new, there are plenty of free resources out there to guide you in the right direction. So making a point to regularly utilize these resources like YouTube, podcasts, Facebook groups, local investor meetups, etc., to increase your exposure to the business and learn by osmosis can get you on the right path fast. Which brings me to our third roadblock, the limiting beliefs. When I was a new realtor, I caught myself believing all kinds of BS every day that I allowed to hold me back. I'm too young. I don't have enough experience. I suck at sales. People don't want to buy from me. Maybe being an agent isn't for me. The things I was telling myself on the daily was seriously hurting my career because I was believing them, and it led to me slacking off. It was a daily struggle of, I know I should make my calls, but I'm probably not going to get any leads anyway because I suck at talking to people, so I might as well not even try. And more than just my career, speaking to myself in this way was extremely detrimental to my self-esteem and confidence. It became an endless loop of limiting belief to no action, to no sales, to no self-confidence, and right back to that limiting belief. Science tells us that limiting beliefs act as defense mechanisms to protect ourselves from pain. Like your subconscious is remembering past negative experiences, and so it's trying to prevent you from hurting yourself again. It makes sense logically, but unfortunately, limiting beliefs also prevent us from reaching our full potential because we're terrified of what would happen if we failed, or were rejected, or lost something in the process. And if you have a real goal and vision for the life you want to live, not having achieved it yet should hurt more than those fears. The first step to overcoming limiting beliefs is to recognize that they are just that, limiting. None of those things I told myself were actually true. They were excuses to get out of doing the hard thing. Alex Hormozi says it all the time, if it feels hard to you, then you're probably doing the right thing. After you've recognized that your limiting beliefs are not true reflections of you or your authentic self that you know is capable of reaching your goals, otherwise you wouldn't have this opportunity in front of you in the first place, then you can move on to squashing them. Oh, you don't have enough experience? Well, do you want to help people? Oh, but you suck at sales? Get better at them. Read a book, watch a podcast, refer to roadblock number 2. I'll give you a hint. The best way to squash limiting beliefs is to simply not give in to them. Remember, you have full control and reign over your thoughts. Funny enough, overcoming the limiting beliefs I had is when I had my epiphany. After you have the resources and the mindset, all this business is doing the hard thing over and over and over again. The ultimate truth of starting a business and the biggest thing that separates those who make it and those who don't is consistency. Heavily backed by one's mindset and having a strong why, the consistency of doing the thing every day that gets you closer to your goal is what will make or break your career. It's as simple as realizing that if you talk to 20 or 30 or 40 homeowners a day for 30, 60, 90 days on end, someone has to say yes, right? Someone has to raise their hand and say they want to sell their house. But it takes prospecting every day and having the intention of prospecting every day for those 30, 60, 90 days. The best formula I've found for creating consistent growth is learn, take action, learn, take action, learn, take action. Like a roller coaster that goes up, then dips, then goes higher, then dips, then goes even higher yet again. It's very beneficial to start from the bottom, gain some knowledge, take action on that knowledge, then reflect on what you've learned from that action and take action again. Don't be afraid to dip. Slow, steady progress trumps trying to get rich quick every time. So many people get into real estate thinking that if they spend enough time learning before taking action, then that will save them from failure because they spent all that time learning. And this phenomenon is so common that it's earned a name. It's called analysis paralysis, and it's a huge mistake because there is no way to learn everything you need to know before taking the leap of actually getting out there and creating business. But if you jumped and took some notes after you fell, then you can leap with what you've learned and go even further. It's like learning how to swim. You can read a bunch of books about swimming and watch videos about swimming and hang out with a bunch of Olympic swimmers, but we all know the best way to learn how to swim is to just jump in and attempt your first few strokes. You're gonna struggle the first time, your limiting beliefs will try to tell you that you can't do it, but by jumping in, you just took the first step to learning how to swim. And if you were to practice every single day for years on end and you were just getting better and better and better, there's no way you don't become a pro. Highly productive and highly successful people have an extremely healthy relationship with failure because they know that failure is absolutely necessary to improve and get to where they want to be. So if you build the discipline of consistency and you apply it with the skills you learn and the money-making activities like generating business, closing, etc., and you just stay consistent with the learn, take action pattern, there is no way you don't make those first few deals. So once we commit to consistency and while we're learning how to embrace failure, the first tactical strategy to consider applying is working in 90-day cycles. The biggest challenge we real estate entrepreneurs face that traditional salaried employees don't is that we're self-employed. Independent contractor, 1099, CEO, whatever position you take as a real estate professional, at the end of the day, there is an extreme level of self-discipline required to move yourself along because there's really no one telling you what to do and when to do it. So working in 90-day cycles is an extremely effective strategy to breaking up your big, maybe even impossible seeming 12-month goal into smaller, more immediately attainable targets. Especially for us, being in the business of transacting real estate typically takes 1 to 3 months from generating a lead to closing that deal and getting paid. So whether you're wholesaling, selling real estate, investing in buying property to rent or flip, The nature of our industry requires a decent amount of time to get these deals closed. Can it take faster than a month or longer than 3 months? Of course, but what I love about setting new goals, objectives, and daily schedules every 90 days gives us the opportunity to practice that learn, action, learn pattern. Because after committing ourselves to being consistent for 90 days, we can then reflect on everything that happened in that time period, how much we worked, how much we earned, our satisfaction level with that result, and we can take that data to determine what adjustments we'll need to make to be even more successful in the next 90 days. What worked that we'll keep doing and what didn't work that we'll stop doing. And we know it did or didn't work because we gave it the full 90 days of consistency. I hear it all the time. I can't deal with rejection. What will I do if I fail, etc. And I always say there is no rejection and there is no failure, period. There is only data. Oh, I tried at something for 90 days and got absolutely nothing out of it. Well, I guess something within that strategy needs to shift for the next 90 days. Or maybe I need to get rid of it altogether. I personally structure and train my team around the 90-day cycle because 90 days is a very decent amount of time to essentially risk to find out whether a new lead generation system works or whether a new hire aligns with our team or if a certain habit is really effective for our productivity. If you've ever worked in 90-day cycles in or outside the real estate realm, I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts on this strategy in the comments down below. Now, our second strategy, which is very commonly heard but not very commonly explained, is committing to improving by 1% every day. The old adage these days is if you get 1% better every day, you'll be 365% better by the end of the year. Get it, it makes sense logically, but it also sounds very cringy. Not to mention, if you're anything like me and you're naturally resistant to routine, then it takes a ton of effort to make small improvements daily. Like a ton. This became very apparent for me when I was in my first days of real estate and I wanted to commit to consistency, so I built a daily schedule. I wanted to wake up at 6 a.m., get to the gym by 6:30, and be in the office by 8:30 to practice my sales scripts and start making cold calls for listings. It was gonna be great. I was gonna start immediately and that would be my daily discipline, no exceptions. Now at the time, my regular daily schedule was waking up at 9, spending an hour getting ready and making breakfast, going on a walk, and then lazing around scrolling through Instagram and TikTok. So when I committed to the schedule, but I was snoozing the alarm and getting to the gym late and procrastinating on my calls, you can imagine my frustration. I loved the idea of waking up and being a hustler and closing deals left and right just like the agents on social media do, but I wasn't doing it, I was getting lazy. Now what I didn't understand is that all the gurus who portray that lifestyle on social media, and don't forget the people who do this are likely lying to you for likes, but I digress. These people started somewhere. It's extremely rare for the average person to be able to turn their life around in a day. If you've ever tried to make a huge change in your lifestyle, all of a sudden, you know how much of a tall order that can be. Imagine if you had a friend who you know spends all their days lazing around and then suddenly they were in the gym every day at 5 a.m. getting shredded. You'd be so confused, right? You'd probably think there's something wrong with them. This kind of rapid major change is highly unreasonable and just not sustainable. I really thought I could go from waking up at 9 every day to waking up at 6 every day in just 24 hours. Was I insane? No, I just thought it'd be easy. But this is where you need to cut yourself just an ounce of slack. It's not that I wasn't waking up because I didn't want it, and it really isn't totally impossible to make a major change like that, but again, I'm just someone who's highly resistant to routine, so I needed to take the baby steps. And so in the middle of my frustration, I decided to go back to 0. Instead of trying to wake up at 6, let me just go for 7. Let me go from 9 to 7. I tried that for a week, and let me tell you, it was way easier than trying to wake up at 6 from the get-go. And once waking up at 7 was easy, then I went for 6:30, then 6:15. And by making these small changes, getting just 1 tiny percent better every day, I actually got to 6 a.m. faster, easier, and more consistently than if I tried and failed repeatedly to just flip that switch. It's hard because everyone wants that immediate gratification, and hey, if you're capable of making drastic changes instantly, all the power to you. But for those who need some help on this, consider going about your journey little by little. The best part of committing to improving by just 1% daily is that when you're making small incremental changes instead of huge drastic ones, you actually get to the huge change faster than you think. And this 1% rule applies to so many things a lot of us are already familiar with. You know, waking up earlier is one, but even increasing your strength in the gym, or working out your muscle memory with brain games, or getting better at a sport, we know that making small, consistent changes and riding that roller coaster all the way up is what gives us lasting results. The last strategy I'll share with you today is to wake up every day with the mindset that you are unemployed. I learned this from an early mentor of mine. He makes well over $1 million a year in real estate. And one day I asked him what the secret was, and he said, Vayna, I wake up every day and I tell myself I'm unemployed. I go to work as though I have no business, no paychecks pending, no deals in the pipeline. That way, I stay hungry. When I heard that, my immediate reaction was like, okay. I was very surprised, but then I thought about it and it made a lot of sense. I'm really glad that I heard that early on, because knowing me, I would have taken those first few checks and blown them on Gucci and Louis Vuitton and God knows what. But I decided to adopt that same mindset, because if you wake up every day unemployed and needing to find new business, then your deal flow will surely stay flowing. It's extremely common in this industry for new agents, wholesalers, etc. to get their first deal or two in escrow, get it pending, and then sit back, relax, and wait for the deal to close so they can get their hard-earned money. The problem with this is that between the time it took to contract that lead all the way to closing, they have just missed that many days or weeks of finding new business to close for next month. They got excited about their first few deals, and all of a sudden, the good work habits they created have gone out the window. It's actually a big reason most of them end up quitting, because now they have to start over and earn new business. They have to start right back at zero. But if you can wake up every day with a mindset ingrained that no matter how many deals you have pending to close, that you need to find new business and stay in those good habit routines, then you'll stay on track to hit those goals. Those are the 3 strategies. Getting your mindset right and following these steps is about half the battle. To learn how to set up your business to be recession-proof as we go into the rest of the year, check out this video to see what I'm doing to make $1 million this year. And until then, see you next time.